Hi friends, I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and today I want to just talk with you about another topic that I've noticed out in the world that I think needs some discussion. So my husband loves to listen to the online preparedness channels like City Prepping and the Canadian Prepper and others. And I can't really watch that stuff too much because I get a little scared and worried and it stresses me out. And I believe strongly in taking care of my stress levels and staying calm and worry-free like God tells us to do, right? The thing is that we do need to be prepared. We ourselves take care of our food storage. We grow our own food. We hunt. We take care of our needs as much as possible without having to rely on the grocery stores or any kind of a store. Because the moment that you have to go to the store for something, you are disempowered, basically. So I want to talk about a topic, though, that these prepper channels rarely, if ever, mention, and that is medicine. And when they do mention medicine, and I'm not saying anything bad about them at all, this is just the typical mindset of modern Americans and modern developed countries, and that is that the first thing that their minds go to is go to the store, buy a whole bunch of medicines, and store them. Okay, well, guess what? They have expiration dates, and what if you can't get what you need? There's a whole bunch of questions there about herbal preparedness, and we really don't know where our lives are going right now. We just don't have a clue. I know the little bits and pieces I hear when I do happen to turn on the news, which is rare, is not very encouraging, to be honest. It's quite scary, and it makes me feel very, very happy that several years ago I took preparedness pretty seriously with my husband. So we've worked together as a team to work on our self-reliance and our self-sufficiency. Back to being medically prepared. What does that exactly mean? So to me, when you talk about preparedness, you're talking about the long term. Okay, we can talk about food storage all day long, but if you don't have a plan for the long term, I'm not really sure you're really all that prepared. Just saying, okay? So something to consider in your minds as you are working on your preparedness efforts. So with our medicines, I think it's vital that we have a plan to use the medicinal plants that God gave us here on our earth to help us with our health and our body balance, and to heal any issues we might have, whether it's a wound or whether it's an infection or whether it's simply a sunburn or a bug bite or something like this. Using herbs, and that it would include, for me, because I'm an aromatherapist and an herbalist, that also includes essential oils, which are extremely powerful and effective. If you use them right, they're wonderful strategies to have in your back pocket if you are into preparedness. So most of us in modern days, we don't grow up knowing how to use plants as medicines. We don't grow up knowing that many plants that grow around us have medicinal actions, and if we know what to do with them, then we can empower ourselves to create our own plant medicines right in our kitchens, right in our homes. We just don't learn this. And so the time is now, you guys, the time is now. So what is required to become medically prepared is knowledge and action, those two things. So knowledge is this. I was listening to Patera at Appalachian Homestead the other day, and she was talking about, hey, if you're going to learn about homesteading, learn about somebody who's been doing it for a few years. Don't go to somebody's brand new homestead and start learning from a new person. Learn from a person with a lot of years of experience. And I would have to say that doubly and quadruply and triply applies to herbalism. You really need to be learning herbalism from a person who is, number one, aligned with your own philosophies, your spirituality and everything else, because there's actually a lot of spirituality in herbalism. By the way, I'm a Christian herbalist. I come to teach and share and practice my own herbalism with Christian perspective. I think that's very important to me, that we leave out the occult, the astrology, all of that. And that's just me. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, that's okay. But that's where I stand in the herbal world. You need to find a person who resonates with you, to learn from, who's knowledgeable and has many years of experience. So that's number one. The second thing is taking action. You can read all the books you want. You can listen to all of the YouTube videos you want. You can take some courses. You can show up to our live question answer chats in our Confident Herbalist tribe. But if you don't take action, if you don't start making tinctures or salves, or, starting to experiment with things like dual extractions and water infusions and all kinds of different herbal methods, roller bottles, diffuser blends. I could go on and on, obviously. But if you don't take action on these things, you're not going to learn. You just won't. So you need to find a person who's knowledgeable, and you need to take some action. So how do you do this? Well, I'm offering up my services right here. If you go to the description below, and I'll have a link to my school there, and you're welcome to reach out to me and find out more. And then there's all kinds of other schools out there. But the time to start learning is now. The time to find a person is right now. Okay, it really is. I know for us, if we have a headache, let me just say this, we have not used any prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs in over 10 years, at least. It's probably been much longer than that, because I haven't really sat down to count up all the years. But we've gotten off of prescription meds that we were on for blood pressure, for different things, and even like antibiotics, where, Joe's been told here and there he needs an antibiotic because he might have cut his finger really deep or whatever. We just handle everything here in our home with herbs, with our plant medicine. And that's because I know how to do it, and he's learning how to do it. It's really exciting. That's why it's needed. Herbal, I think everybody needs to have either somewhat of an herbal background, some kind of knowledge that you can use, or have a person in your life that you can turn to who's also learning or who knows about it. Did you know that your kitchen spices can actually be medicinal, strongly medicinal? Cayenne pepper, black pepper, what else? It's escaping me. Peppermint, chamomile, turmeric, cinnamon. There are so many. Sage, thyme, rosemary, oregano. All of those kitchen spices have strong medicinal actions if you know how to use them right. It's exciting. And it really makes you feel a sense of peace, that you know that if you get a bad wound or something, you can make a poultice if you have yarrow growing nearby, or plantain if you have a wasp or a sting, a wasp bite or a sting or something like that. It's really amazing. So who should be herbally prepared? You guys, you need to be herbally prepared. I need to be herbally prepared, and I am. And we have a fully stocked home apothecary for ourselves, and also to help our community out as well. You need to be herbally prepared. You need to be medically prepared. And that goes beyond just going to the drugstore and buying a bunch of stuff and hoping you've got all the right stuff and storing it away. What you do need to have is a plan for bandages and, things like that, cloth that you might need to use for your certain things. But you need to know how to use the herbs that God gave us in our yards that are at our disposal. Let me tell you a quick story, and then I'll hop off this topic. One of my students told me a couple of years ago, she says, yeah, I had this plant, this weed growing on our walkway, and it was so high and tall and it wouldn't go away. And she said, so I cut it all down and it kept coming back. And she said to me, she goes, well, then I found out what it was. And I said, well, what was it? She goes, it was elecampane. I said, really? And she goes, yeah, isn't that crazy? Right before the C word struck, there's elecampane growing in her yard, which is an incredible respiratory supporting herb. She didn't know. So you guys, it's time to learn. It's time to learn about the plants that are growing in your yard, in your community, in the mountains nearby, or maybe over by the lake where you live, or out in the wild. It's time to learn to grow and forage. It's time to know where to buy your herbs if you need to purchase them. It's time to learn how to make a tincture, how to make a roller bottle that's safe and effective and works. All right? So the time to do that is right now. It's right now. If you don't start, if you wait, you're going to be in the same exact place in a year from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now. The time to start is right now. Herbal preparedness, medical preparedness using plant medicine is something that takes time to learn. It's a time investment, although it's a fun investment, and it doesn't really take that much time. It really doesn't. You just have to do it. So anyway, something I'm very, very passionate about. I wish more of the prepping channels would talk about being herbally and medically prepared. I really do. I have a wonderful course, by the way, called Ditch the Drugstore. It's where I help beginners and intermediates. The experienced herbalists don't really need this, but if you're brand new beginning all the way up through, you've been studying for a few years, I help you actually plan out, create, and organize your own custom home apothecary, because we all have different needs. My family's needs with 2 middle-aged people and my elderly mother living close by is very, very different from a family that's got 8 kids of all different ages and different needs. And some people have health concerns they really need to be considering. What happens if you can't get your blood pressure medicine? What are you going to do? There are plants that can be rather helpful in that case. So anyhow, that's all I'm going to say on that topic. I really hope that you'll look into herbalism. I will leave a link down below to some free gifts I have for you that can help you get started. My herbal remedy guide is one of them. How to relax using herbs and essential oils will help you manage your stress levels in these very, very stressful times. And I'll also leave a link to the information page for my course, Ditch the Drugstore, which I hope you'll take a look at. It's really good. It's not open for enrollment right now, but you can get on the wait list. I'm getting ready to open it very shortly. And if you're on the wait list, you're going to be notified. All right, that's all I have for you today, and I hope to see you in the channel here. So please subscribe if you enjoyed this or if it was thought-provoking at all. And I hope to see you later. Pick up one of those free gifts I have for you and subscribe. I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and it's my goal to get an herbalist into every extended family. All right,